closely with many startups, and I've seen a lot of failures and as well as successes. So we all know that starting and also running a business here in Canada is challenging. So, and to make it a viable business is not easy. So today is an excellent opportunity for us to meet these winners in person and also to learn from them because they were able to overcome those hurdles and become business award winners. So it is my pleasure and honor to moderate today's panel discussion. So this session is going to be divided into 3 parts. So first of all, I will briefly introduce the speakers that are with us today. And then in part 2, I will lead the questions. So each panelist will have an opportunity to respond. And due to time restraint, and also I want to make sure that you will have an opportunity to ask questions. So may I ask the panelists to limit your answer to a maximum of 3 minutes. And so 15 minutes before the session ends, then I'll open the floor to questions. So actually, before I ask the questions or introduce the speakers, I would like to ask for a show of hands. So how many of you are already running a business? So that's great. So how many of you are planning to start a business or thinking about starting a business? So that's great. So it's a good mix here. So now let me introduce the speakers. So I'll start from my end and then go to the other end. So I'm very pleased to have with me Irwin Lee, Many Canada Limited, winner of the 2012 ACCE Award of Winners. So Irwin is the president of Many Canada Limited, an innovative door manufacturing company which has 60% of the market share and is one of the largest fiberglass door and also hardware supplier in Canada. Their products are being installed in homes all across Canada and are being sold nationwide through distributors to Home Depot, Rona, Home Hardware, Sears, and Direct Buy. So most probably the door in my house is one of your products. So please welcome Irwin. So next to Irwin is Eddie Ray, Triumph Express Canada Inc. The most aggressive,
We're aggressive too.
So the most aggressive award winner in 2012. So Triumph began in 1988 as a full container load ocean importer, building a reputation as a leader in Asia to Canada project. As the landscape of global transportation has changed, Triumph evolved into a full service provider, adding North America-wide logistics, warehousing, and customs brokerage services. Today, Triumph has grown into one of the most successful logistics companies in Canada, with over 50 employees. So headquartered in Toronto, Triumph has become an international company with agencies and branch offices throughout the world, including locations in Canada such as Montreal, Calgary, Vancouver, and also in Asia, China, South America, USA, Europe, the Middle East, and India. So that's basically the whole world. So welcome, Eddie. So to Eddie's right is Dan Liu, Tetsuaki Inc., the award winner for the most innovative award in 2012. So Dan studied fashion design and marketing at the famous Aoyama Fashion College in Tokyo in 1997. So some milestones. In 2001, he became one of the top 10 Canadian designers at AT&T Fashion Award. And in 2002, he launched the label Tetsuaki. And in 2008, he became one of the 7 icons of Canadian fashion. 2009, he received Creative Award from Misamashi TV, Tokyo, Japan. And this year, he launched the Tetsuaki collection in the Hudson's Bay Company in Canada. So we can get the fashions in the designs in Canada now. And his designs can also be found at Toronto in Canada, the EC10 Group in Japan, Hugo Boss in the States. So, but Dan is more than a designer. He's also known for his perseverance to develop a clothing label in the competitive world of fashion. His motto is, if you want to be a true designer, you can design, you invent. Thank you for joining us, Dan. Okay, next to Dan is Brian Chen, CJ Marketing Limited, the most progressive award winner in the year 2011. So So in the early 80s, Brian Chan worked as an electrical engineer for Boeing aircraft when he suddenly found himself without a job. So in 1985, he founded CG Marketing, selling home decorative items. His company now sells and markets to many major trade shows and retailers across the country, including the Canadian Home Furnishing Market, the Canadian Gift and Tableware Show, Loblaws, No Frills, and Home Hardware. So CG Marketing began with two individuals, and now employs more than 85. So Brian's business group is structured into 3 companies now and operates out of the 2 industrial buildings with a total floor area of over 80,000 square feet. So CG Marketing also supports major charitable organizations and has won many awards as top supplier to many major retailers. And Brian has even been invited by the governments of Mexico and Indonesia to speak about the how-tos of exporting products. So Brian, thank you for joining us again this year. Our fifth panel speaker, William Ho, from the One Gallery, unfortunately cannot join us today because there's a huge event in the Unionville Festival in Markham, and he has some work over there, so he couldn't join us. So now, as you can see, entrepreneurs can be from very diverse backgrounds. Can be engineers, can be fashion designers, etc. So, but if you want to do it, you can do it, and you can be successful. So now we start with the questions. So my first question to the panel is, so what motivated you to start the business? So what are your goals, and have you already achieved them? So I want to start with, first of all, from Brian. So what prompted you to start your business, Brian?
Well, first of all, to start a business basically is depend on yourself. If you know yourself, you are a very good planner, organizer, and you can lead the people to work for you, then you're in. Without those things, basically, you have a long way to go. Because in Canada, this is a totally different than in Asia. Because I work a long way to get to this far. And let me tell you, it's worth it. And once you get in it, and you know yourself, you can learn a lot, and you can meet a lot of people, and you know you are the smart one.
So what gave you the confidence to start your business?
Well, for me, it's all about what would you like to do, you know. I mean, okay, before I answer the question, I would like to say a little bit, a few things. I know that, you know, maybe today the program is a little bit long, and it's a little bit, maybe you seems like it's none of your business or not related to you. But honestly, I'm telling you right now to everyone, you know, I mean, it's not just about the sale price that you got from TNT today, okay? It's not about the young kids that you're playing Diablo online games at home, or it's not about the new collection coming out from Victoria's Secrets. I know that this sounds like that is related to you guys because it's day-to-day issues, you know, that related to you or your family. But whatever the speaker that they were speaking is really, really useful for not just your, if you want to create your own career, or even though it's for your job, it's the information that you really need for your future and for your life in Canada. So back to your questions. For me, I don't care, you know, you want to do in banking, financing, or investment, or just like me in fashion, right? Anything you like to do, first of all, is you have to have an interest and you have a passion in that job. If you don't have passion in it, you won't do good. I'm telling you right now. Okay, if you don't have passion, you don't even like every day 9 to 5 just go to work, you earn the salary, and is this what you want in your life? Come on, life is too short, okay? We live in average, we have 80 years in life, you know, and the first 20 years you cannot do anything, you're too young. The last 20 years you might not be able to do anything. So literally you only have 40 years to spend. Guys, spend it wisely. Spend your passion. Whatever you want to do, as long as you don't hurt others, you don't hurt yourself, as long as you like to do it, of course it's legal, okay? Do it.
start a business that you do not love, that means you are creating a job that you can't quit. So that's too bad. So Eddie, so what was it what sparked you to start the business? Is it in your blood? Or?
Well, it is my blood because my father started the business, so I think I've been trained since I was born to move freight. But I can only speak for my father, what motivated him to start his business. Before he started this business, he worked for a very large multinational freight forwarder. And in there, he believes that his skills weren't utilized because the company was so large, right? He believed that he can add value to a smaller business, so he decided to start his own. His ideas would only be heard to himself, and he could implement his own ideas. Entrepreneurs are the lifeblood of any country, right? We're the ones who really drive the economics. If you work for a large company, you can get some really good ideas, but your ideas also may be stifled by bureaucracy, right? So that's why he figured he can just do it in his own and do it better.
Thank you. Thank you, Eddie. So, Owen, so can you tell us about your experience?
My family is very similar as Eddie's family, this one.
Yeah, use the gold.
Yeah, the golden. My family background very similar. My father started the business in China 30 years ago. So ever since a little boy, I wanted to be an entrepreneur, wanted to run a business, a successful business, build it from ground up. So that was probably the motivation. And then I did quite a bit of research to see what's out there in regards to what I can offer. So in the Canadian market, to be honest, I've been very lucky because what areas that I'm in, I don't have any competition from China. Therefore, there's many different things we can do instead of competing on pricing. So that's how I started.
So, but do you think that sometimes people say that it's you start business for the wrong reasons? Do you guys have any experience about that?
So I'll just answer that pretty quickly. I think people start business for many reasons. Sometimes it's out of necessity, right? Sometimes it's out of ego, right? And sometimes people really have an innovative idea, like, damn, he's a creative fashion, right? I think it doesn't matter what your reason for starting business, but you have to be true to yourself. If you want to just become rich, that's fine. Just be honest to yourself. That's what you want to do. You want to make a business to create money. That's fine, right? But I think there really is no wrong reason to start a business, and everyone has their own reasons.
But is it true that if you want to make money, get rich, then you start a business?
No, definitely. There's no guarantee right now. Absolutely not. But I think it is you're the one who controls the factors. Besides world economic downfall or whatever. But you reap the rewards if you make the right decision, and you also have to pay for it to make the wrong. But at least it's your decision. No one else is making it for you.
So we just heard from the economist that it's a challenging time. So is the challenging time the time to start a business, or really doesn't matter at all?
I started off 2008. You see everything that goes minus at the US factor. So if you can go through that part, especially in my business, which a lot to do with renovation, construction, it was really bad year. The year I started was 2008, and when Paul was showing all those graphics, that was the worst year that you can ever imagine. Everything was minus down below. And I don't think there's a good time and a bad time to start. But the key here is to plan ahead, to plan the worst time. And you never know how bad it would be in the future when you're in 2008. I was thinking I'm probably going to close my doors 2 years down the road if that's still keeping declining. But we've prepared for the worst and the worst. So when we will overcome those years, now when 2010 comes climb back up, we really appreciate the opportunity that time because we've gone through the worst, prepared for the worst.
To me, I don't think, of course, some people think that good time to start a business is good, bad time to start a business is not good, but I'm telling you, okay, when I start my business, okay, I literally worked for 2 jobs in Japan when I studied fashion. Because, everyone knows that how high the living standard in Japan, in Tokyo. When I was only a foreigner there, even though I'm half Japanese, but they consider me that I'm a Canadian, so they consider me I'm a foreigner, and I have to pay a foreign price. And you know what? I work for 2 jobs, and then basically I study full-time and study full-time at the same time. Then I work for full-time, study full-time at the same time. And everybody sees that, oh, wow, now today you are the, one of the winner in ACCE. Of course, thank you very much. Thank you, Ellen. Thank you for the judging panel. But I'm telling you, right, I have 3 fashion lines in Japan, and they're all selling pretty well in Japan until last year. Because last year, March 11th, there was a tsunami earthquake, and you know what? It killed my business 90%, 90% for the first quarter in Tokyo. And eventually, after the whole year, I lost 75% in average. So is that a bad time for me to do business? No. But basically, you just have to, just like one of our speakers said, you have to prepare ahead for what you want to do. Yes, natural disaster like this, like earthquake and tsunami, that we cannot do anything. To be honest, I even lost a best friend. One of my friends died because of the tsunami. But, welcome to the world, and you have to survive, and you have to do what you have to do. So this is life.
Thank you.
I started my business in 1980s, and let me tell you, at that time, the interest rate was 17%. I lost my house, I lost my job. So if you say it's the wrong time to start a business, it proves you no. Because there's no limit time when you're going to start or how you're going to start. Basically, it's the bad timing when you start, you learn more, and you grow, and you grow with it. Because if you're going to start your business at good timing, you miss your goal, you miss a lot of things, opportunity you will learn. And once you learn it, it stays with you, and you benefit from it, and you can grow even faster.
So actually recently I had an opportunity to speak with venture capitalists who have invested into many businesses and become successful. And then he told me one thing, is that failure actually is an ingredient for success. So that's why I want to combine the following 2 questions together. So you have more than 3 minutes, you have 6 minutes to answer this question. So the questions are, so what are the biggest challenges that you have encountered and how you overcome them? And then please outline your success factors and explain why they work for you. So now this time let's start with Urban on this question.
In my business, because I import from China, and we do also have a manufacturing in China as well. The most famous challenge was the perception of Chinese product. Back in the days when we first started, myself actually was a little embarrassed when they asked me where the product is coming from. I said it's from China. And the perception of that, basically people thinking the product itself is low quality and also low pricing. Canadian construction industry is a little different. They are not focusing on pricing like US market, where if your price is cheaper, they will buy from you. So what we did is we went back and started research and development, restructure the product, restructure manufacturing, and make sure that we, out of the test and also out of the testing environment, so we have the best product on the market. So that was the biggest challenge. Then the second challenge is the marketing, the branding. Since it's a Chinese product, the perception is already there. And by knowing you have a good product, what you need to do is let everyone knows that this product is existing in the market and you can compete. Then that's where we started to compete with a lot of the major suppliers. The companies are listed, the Fortune 500 companies, the largest fiberglass door factories in the world. And we're starting to taking over the market share. We do strong marketing strategies. We send mass emails to them every day. What I want to tell my team is let them to know many. We want them to, back to their head, there is such a company as many, supplying fiberglass doors. Then we want them to have a reception that this brand has been out there like other competitions that have already been in the market for 20, 50 years. So that keep repetitive of the marketing approach has significantly changed our customers. And today we actually sell out of industry standards. We make the size of the certain products where the whole industry is following us today.
But the biggest challenge was the perception, and as well as the marketing itself, the brand.
So then how do you become successful then? So what are some of your success factors?
One thing I learned is that first is that you never bring a immature product out to the market. If you're not 100%, 120% knowing that the product itself will work, you won't convince yourself, you won't have the confidence. So that's first and foremost. Second is when we go out, there's a story. One of the customers I visited, that was about 3 years ago. And the same question goes, it's a Chinese product, yes. And you know the existing problem with fiberglass doors is because Canada is so cold. During the winter time, the door will warp. Basically, it will warp, it will bend. And then you have cold air coming in, you will see the broad daylight. He goes, well, the French company cannot resolve it, the Japanese cannot resolve it. And the Americans can resolve the issue. You are a Chinese company, how can you compete? How can you tell me, prove to me that it will work? And then he's saying, the brand names. In our industry, there's brand names, just like in fashion, in any automobile industries, there's brand names. So the name listings like Cadillacs, Mercedes in the industry. What I have told him is that, let's say it's your anniversary, will you take your wife to the most and the best, most famous restaurant in the world, the biggest franchise? He goes, of course. I said, then I would imagine you would take your wife to McDonald's for the anniversary. Because branding itself, but we would laugh at that was my customer, Home Depot. At the end, we closed the deal. Because we show all the test reports, we have a lot of references. But again, the first and foremost, you gotta have a strong product. Without knowing that, you can't, no matter how strong your company, your marketing strategy is, you will only hurt yourself because your reputation only stands once. Homeowner only allow you to try your products once. And then the marketing strategy, again, marketing. We spend so much efforts on marketing. Any successful company I've seen so far, they're a marketing company first, by knowing you have a good product. So that was my story.
So thank you. And Eddie, how about in your industry? So what are your success factors, your secrets to success, and what are challenges that you face?
Well, one of the biggest challenges that we've faced over the last 6 years is just to manage our growth. Like imports from Asia, like everyone knows, has been booming. Same with exports, and it's hard to stay loyal to what you've built as a product when you're growing at 20-25% a year. Right? As your business grows, you start to lose touch with maybe the clients who've made you successful, right? Or you're looking for other capital. So our biggest challenge is just to keep up with the business, right? And how we overcame that is we had to build a really good team behind us, right? As an entrepreneur, you're probably only good with a few good things. Myself, like I'm good at the sales part. That's really what I'm good at. You talk about finance, that's my sister, right? There's other guys, especially in our business, a lot of compliance issues. You can't do it all yourself. If you try to do all yourself, you dilute yourself, and then you start to lose the core of your business. So we really have to build a good support team behind us, right? So you know what you're good at, and you stick with it. Also, you have to create an environment of open communication, good teamwork, right? Because in your mind as an entrepreneur, sometimes you want to take the business, but if you don't communicate that to your team, they can't execute it for you, right? You see it with a lot of entrepreneurs who try to micromanage everything, and what happens is that everyone's trepidatious and try to pull the trigger themselves, and they always have to come to you and ask for a decision, and that takes a long time to grow your business. If you don't let things go and have the right people in place, you won't be able to grow your business in any market, no matter if it's up or down. And the last thing that I believe you have to be fully transparent with, not only with your employees, but also with your vendors and your clients, right? You have to share your successes like we talked about today, but you also want to share your failures, right? Because like you said before, you only learn from your mistakes, right? I'll say, okay, I tried this, I tried closing the deal by going with this marketing strategy or this pricing policy, and it didn't work, right? And then we'll talk about why it didn't work. Was it the wrong timing? Did we align with the wrong vendors, right? And that way, we won't have our salespeople repeat the same mistakes, and hopefully, your sales cycle comes along a lot quicker.
I think that is very true because when you build your team, it does not just mean your staff, but also your vendors, your suppliers, and even your bankers, and also your accountants, etc. So because you all want to work together, and they know you and know your mandate and mission statement as well, too, right? So great. So how about Dan? So you're in a very competitive industry. So how do you build your branding?
For me to build my branding is, as everyone knows that, or maybe you all don't know. Let me tell you, fashion industry actually, I can tell you right now, is one of the toughest industry in the world. It's one of the toughest. Why would I say that? Because, for anyone who study from university, you know what, I was graduated, long time ago, I was graduated from, well, not that long, not that old. But, a while ago, I graduated from Waterloo. I graduated from Waterloo for computer science and psychology. I'm one of the geeks in the world, okay? But because, the difference is in computer engineering, once you graduate, you get a certain license, you have a price for how much you can get for your salary. Okay, for engineer, on that level, I have an expect salary. On fashion designer, no. There's no standard, there's no license for fashion designer. How famous are you, or how much certificate you get so that you get paid more? No, there's none. So it's really subjective industry. Just like I doing fashion show in L'Oreal Fashion Week, after 1 year I try my best, and it's only lasts for 25-30 minutes. That's it. All the international buyers come over, take a look, and then, even the media come over, take a look, and then they say, you know what, it's only yes or no. So either it's good or bad. If it's yes, well, the next year, I got more orders, so my pocket will be more money, and then if not, you know what, you close down everything, and then you go back to your office, start drawing again, for the next season. So that's why for my industry, it's a little bit different than others. Like I said, if you say, answering your question first, if you say successful, to be honest, honestly to you guys, I don't think I am successful yet. For all of you sitting up there right now and sitting right in this room, I'm nothing more than you guys. I'm just like you guys, work hard every day, alright, try your best every day. Maybe I'm just a little bit more experienced than you do right now, and I'm just a little bit luckier. That's all. So you and I are the same, okay? So that's why we have the forum today to share, our experience, just like, our speakers say, to learn from our failure. I think when you learn from your mistakes, you always grow better and more, because you make the mistake. And a lot of people telling me that, no, Dan, I don't want to change. I don't want to change anything. Today when I get up, I live very well. I have a nice house, I have a nice car. I go T&T, get a sales price every day. I buy stuff easy. For the young kid here, how many people play online games? How many people play online games? None? So nobody play Diablo? Oh, come on. So, like I said right before, all these speakers, they are professional. They give you all these details, all this information are very, very useful for you. Whether you are working outside this world, or you are about to be an entrepreneur, or you are already an entrepreneur. This is the information that you need, just like the T&T coupons. Okay, you need those. And what I'm saying is, a lot of people telling me, like my auntie telling me, okay, I'm happy, I'm retired, I got the T&T coupon, it's fine. But I'm telling you, okay, even though you don't want to change, I'm sorry to tell you that the world is changing, okay? Just like our economists say, when you see all this graph and demographic, you see the world is changing, whether you are willing to change or not. I'm telling you now, a lot of people telling me that, oh, I don't want to change. I'm living in a comfortable world. I'm on a comfortable suit. I don't want to change. But I'm telling you, I'm sorry, you have to change whether you want it or not. Because the world is changing. If you don't change, I can guarantee you fail. Guaranteed. If you change, doesn't guarantee that you're going to win. I'm sorry to say that. Welcome to the world. But at least you got a chance to win. That's your fighting spirit. Okay?
Thank you, Dan. So we have because you are the winner of the most innovative award, and we can learn a lot of things from you because you are a risk taker, and also your perseverance too. Absolutely. So thank you, Dan. And Brian, how about you? So your industry is a little bit different as well. So I'm sure you have different challenges, and there are other secrets to your success. Could you please share with us?
Well, I got no secret. Very simple. I've been lucky. The reason I said that was just like Freddie was saying is, Eddie, I got a good teamwork, and I trust the people, and that make a big difference, because very simple is when you have good advisors in your company and good helping people on the left and right, let me tell you, when you work with very free, and when you travel and you do a lot of things, you know it's done. And just like you think of right now, the economy is bad or good. Let me tell you, when you start a business, it's always up and down. And my advisors always advise me in my office is, just like that we got RBC today, we got Royal Bank. Since they're here, let me tell you, the best way to work is when your business is good, go and work with them. The reason I said that was once you get everything established, and they work with you, and you stay with them, and they know who you are, they know what you need. When bad time comes, they can help you again. Because when you have a bad time and you go them, how are they going to help you? They got nothing to help to look at it. They got no record, and that's why all my people at work, I admire them. I always admire them. It don't matter if it's a good timing, bad timing, and we've gone through a lot. And always look for the worst scenario. Don't just think that positive, because everything is so positive. Every one of us can be entrepreneur. Thank you.
The question is, because it's really competitive market here in Canada, especially like the construction industry. So it's like an old boys club. So how do you get into the construction industry in the first place?
I guess we'll keep saying luck. Toronto is a mecca of Canadian manufacturing industry. In Toronto alone, just Woodbridge, that's a little town belongs to the city of Vaughan. It has the most window and door manufacturers in the world, within 20 kilometers distance. So that's how we started, and I've been approached a few people because in that industry, for some reason, there's always been traditionally being supplied on demand from Europeans and Americans. Then we set up a company in Toronto because there's so much potential, so much customers. The industry, 50% of the Canadian construction industry is actually all the manufacturers, supplying chains out of Toronto, just a little mecca city. So that's how it started.
Thank you. So Eddie.
Yes.
So many new entrepreneurs or businesses, they want to sell to those chain stores like Loblaws and Sears, etc. So how do you get into that market?
You know, in our business, it takes a bit of time. You have to build up your reputation in the market, right? You know, when my father first started building the business, he was just doing imports for like Chinese grocery stores, right? So at that time, it was like Chinese food stuff, canned goods, rice, and whatever. And he built his reputation on service, and that reputation will follow you throughout the market, right? As you gain more market share, people start to learn your name and understand, you know, your integrity in the business, and you build on that, right? So in my business, I'm just service. I don't have a product like everyone here where you can say like I have the best store in the market, or damn, like I have the best looking dress or whatever. All I have is my word, my service, and that takes time to build up, right? And when you have that momentum, you got to keep going, right? You say, okay, you know, I've closed you know, we count everything by TUs, like by containers. So I just closed a 500 TU account. Okay, next one I want to do 700, 800, 900, right? Because you can gain that momentum, but it takes time through building a good reputation.
So did you Dan as well too? So how do you get into the Bay or the whole Renville?
Or they just come to me. Well, basically, yes. Yeah, let me define a little bit. Well, basically, like I said, my career path is a little bit off because I was, studying computer science, and then, I couldn't find a job because of recession. Then I, eventually tried a lot of things, and then eventually I like fashion, and I went back to Japan and studied fashion, and then after, when I came back, and then I start my own business, and then start doing it every single day, try my best, and eventually, I opened a very small store in Yorkville. In the street, it's called Scarborough Street. I don't know anybody knows that. It's one street north of Yorkville. Basically, there's nobody go there. But because of the rent, I have to, I can't afford Yorkville, so I have to be in Scarborough. But luckily that on that street, there's quite a few famous hairdresser, hairstylist saloon there. So there's a lot of ladies, women went there to do their hairs, and then when they waiting and they see across the street there's a little small funky designer shop. So and they went, and that's how I started. And eventually after 1 year I moved to Bel Air, the Yorkville Street, 5,000 square feet, boutique, and then one day Hot Renfield just came, and then they say, you want to sell your stuff at my place? I said, sure.
So it's not just luck, I think it's the quality of your products and also the reputation that you have built up.
Well, yes. So, yeah. Basically, like I said, right, so the world is changing. Especially in my world, it's fashion world, it's changing, okay, changing every minute. Just like every season you will see a new collection, right? And for the ladies, I'm sure you're aware of the new collection from Victoria's Secrets, right? And coming up in the summer. And for the gentlemen, maybe they're aware of Hugo Boss, for the suit design. But you can see, like when you can see the collection, basically in our industry, it's already done. That industry, when we can give it to the media to see, when we give it to the public, it's already done season. We are already working on the next season or even the season after next. So this is how, because we know the world is changing, so we have to change according to the world. Like I said to you guys before, if you want to get a chance to be successful or get a chance to be able to survive, you have to keep changing, okay? I know that is tough because nobody likes to change, especially when you are in the good times.
Right.
But good time will change, bad time will change. So just like my relative in Japan, right? They all go for a tough time after the tsunami, but if we still have to live, we still have to change. So like I dropped 75% in average for last year, but this year I gained back another 45% just for the first quarter. So as long as you don't give up, like I said in my work video, I said, never give up. You heard these 3 little words, never give up. These 3 little simple words, very simple. Everybody knows that. Even though you don't speak English, I'm sure you know it, Never give up. But if you want to put these 3 little words together all the time, it's very, very difficult. But I'm telling you now, no matter what you do, never give up.
So this is a secret that we've learned today. So perseverance, never give up. So Brian, so how long did it take for your business to be established? So I know you have been in business for a long time, but the first few years might be tough. So how many years did it take for you to be established?
I would say over 10 years.
Wow, 10 years.
10 years. Even though I started in the 80s, the first 10 years, because the economy was there, but you learn, and basically, to answer your question first, to get in the door with the big guys is yes, it's fun, and you got a lot of dollar value and quantities, but let me tell you on the other hand, my business daily business is from all my regular customers. They are the small guys, and they feed every one of my company's staff and families. Without them, nowhere can move that fast. Because those are my important bread and butter. Even though the big guy comes in, but their skill is limited, and when they're done with one skill, then you have to wait for the second skill to come in. So how are you going to handle that? In between time, You learn, and those small little mama and papa are really important for you as well. And without them, and I can tell you, we can be busy for 3 months, and what I'm going to do with the next 9 months. How are we going to pay rent? We sell the whole, even though we cover the whole Canadian market. We do all the trade shows, we cover every trade shows in North America, but we get over 5,000 skills. But when the big guy comes in, will they able to teach you to learn so much about 5,000 skills? So, because I'm different with Erwin, because you got to learn every day. And the small guys is the one that will sit down and sit with you and listen with you, and this is my experience.
So I think it all comes back again to perseverance and also hard work. And so my last question to the panel is, so why did you choose to run your business in Ontario or in Toronto? So can you comment on the business climate here? So maybe you'd like to start this time? Owen?
Toronto is a big, it's a big game. It's a big ball game. You have so much, the market's so big. It's a good testing water for you to go through, outside of Canada or even, outside of Ontario. If you are succeeding in Toronto, then 100% you will be able to adopt in the other smaller regions. More challenge, but on the same token, you can have more talent. There are a lot of good people you can find from all over the world. We've been lucky we have a lot of employees from all over, different backgrounds. And in Toronto itself, especially the Ontario government, is economy-driven type of a government. So you certainly get a lot of support from the local government as well. Those are the chances that you need to, those are sessions that you should come and see if you intend to get in the business, already in the business. Also, so there's all the other ACCE events you should be attending. My past experience, just a few months, we've been approached by BDC and also the Ontario Economy of Development and Trade, and they've shown us nearly $250,000 in government funding that is available to us and allowing us to use. Those are the opportunities that we do not know. Those are what ACCE has brought to me. Those are what Ontario government has given to maintain this economy and sustain the economy to the next level. And it's very good, in my business, it's a very good business environment. So that's why we choose Ontario.
So actually, Erwin touched on two very important points about the business climate here in Toronto. So there are a lot of government supports available for small businesses, from small businesses to businesses that are growing. So actually, the afternoon there's another session on how the government can help your business. So make sure that you do not miss that, because you'll learn a lot of the programs, actually a lot of the programs that are free that are available to you by the Canadian government, 3 different levels of government. And also another very important point is about networking. So we benefit from a very progressive business climate here, especially from the ethnic markets, the Chinese associations, like ACCE are doing a lot of these good work, like networking opportunities, business forums, still to help businesses. So make sure that you are involved in these associations. So Eddie, how about you?
Sure. Yeah.
So, because you have branches all over Canada, but you started in Toronto.
Started in Toronto. So as much as people outside of Toronto want to hear it, Toronto really is the center of Canada, right? 80% of imports that come from Asia end up in Eastern Canada, right? So it's either Toronto, Montreal, kind of in that area. So that's why we have to be positioned here. Also, Ontario, we talked about it before, is a manufacturing base. So my business, either I'm importing the goods from Asia or from Europe into Toronto, Montreal, or I'm exporting it out of Ontario, back out west or down south, right? So there's a lot of business we had in Ontario, and this is why we have to be positioned here. Also, I believe that the schooling here in Ontario is fantastic. We're working a bit with Seneca College right now, and they have an international transportation custom brokerage program. They pump up fantastic students. So you have a good talent pool to pick from for future employees, right? And also, we're so centrally located in Canada that if I have to take a flight out to New Brunswick or Saskatoon, it's all direct, right? If you're in other places, like this matters, right? If you're making connection, you lose half a day or something like that. Flying out of Toronto is really, really convenient. So, and we believe that the business market in Toronto is still very, very good.
So that is very true because in Toronto here you have access to a lot of recent graduates and also immigrants too. So also our economist has touched upon that we have not fully utilized the immigrants' abilities. So there are actually a lot of quality skill and skilled labor here in Toronto that we can take advantage of. So Dan, how about your industry?
I guess, before the two speakers already said that, the benefit of the advantages to be in Toronto, basically not just, the heart of Canada, okay, is the biggest city in Canada, so most of the business activities is in Toronto, so that's one of the reasons I'm in Toronto. But what I want to say is, even though I graduated in Japan and before I graduated in Waterloo, I came back to Toronto because, I do love Canada, so that's why I want to come back to Canada to start as a Canadian fashion designer instead of a Japanese fashion designer, even though today, nowadays, my fashion industry in Japan is 3 times bigger than in Canada. But I still want to develop Canada too, because Canada, maybe the growth is a little bit slower, but doesn't mean that it's not growing. And also I want to tell everyone that, I'm sure you already heard a lot of how good Toronto is, how big Toronto is, like from our experienced speakers and professionals, you already know how, why you're in Toronto, why you're in this forum today. But what I really want to say is, if a lot of people that I encounter, that they always ask me questions, especially the fashion design student that in Ryerson or Georgetown, they will ask me, why do I want to stay in Toronto? When I do fashion, I can stay in New York, I can go anywhere I want, I can go back to China, I can do this and I can do that. But I'm telling you, it doesn't matter where you go. It actually doesn't matter where you go. As long as you are the most important person, you yourself, okay? As long as you determine what you want to do, where you want to do, then stick with it, okay? I see a lot of people that they graduate, they may be graduating a great engineer, okay, and then they back and forth from Hong Kong to here, Hong Kong for 3 years, didn't work out, or there's something happened that they didn't like, they came back to Toronto, they start again, and then another 5 years, they're not happy about it in Toronto, and then they went back to China or Hong Kong. But I'm telling you, if you keep going back and forth, you know what? I'm telling you now, you will never get a chance to be successful. Never. Okay? If you like Toronto, stay in Toronto. And that's no matter what happened in Toronto, stick with it. Problem, solve it. Difficulty, face it. Okay? And if you try your best every day to finish every day your daily work, your future will naturally come. Okay? If you like, let's say, okay, I'm sorry, but I like Hong Kong, I want to go back, take Pacific, take the air, get a ticket and go back to Hong Kong. Fine, go back to Hong Kong. And if you want to settle in Hong Kong, then don't come back. Settle in Hong Kong. Don't back and forth, okay? But let me tell you, after all, Toronto is a great city. Like I always say, I'm sure you guys know. The biggest city in Canada, and I'm sure there's a lot of room to grow. Thank you.
Thank you. So we are all here to stay. We're not going away. We're not going anywhere. So Brian, how about you?
I love Toronto.
We all do, don't we?
And basically, let me be honest with you, is for my business related is Toronto, Ontario, my products, the people, they're willing to accept new ideas. When I have my products and we represent them in the trade show in Toronto, I can sell tons of them. But on the other hand, if I take it to the West Coast, I don't mean West is not, they're not updated or not fashion people, but when I took my product here, the percentage, they don't like as much. But if I have my product sit for another 6 months or a year, then I bring it to the West, it works. Hard to believe, but it is. And we learn a lot, the difference between Middle Toronto, Central Ontario, the West and the East. There is a difference. And when you're in the Central, you can do a lot of things. Doesn't matter if you shoot in the East or shoot in the West. And your product, at least your lifetime can last longer too. Because those people, they're different. Their tastes are just totally different, so that's why our majority of our clients in the first round, yes, is Toronto.